it's about your brand experience too. If I'm experience only selling from you, I'm not gonna come.
No.
Right? I want to be when I learn about your brand, I want to experience your brand at the same time. And if the
Hmm.
experience sucks, I am not coming back. And that's for everybody.
Right.
And if you're gonna push sales on me all the time, goodbye.
Yeah, exactly.
Coming to you live, the number one podcast for digital marketing and branding, hosted by Chef Stellar and Nate CEO. Let's talk digital.
And we're back with another video from OCI Interactive. This is Nate CEO, and I'm alongside
Chef Stellar.
Jeff Stella. And today we're going to talk about building brand awareness. And I really
Building
like
brand
this
awareness.
conversation. Brand
Yeah,
awareness.
yeah.
First, before we start, Chef, what
Hmm.
does brand awareness mean to you?
Brand. Okay,
Because
so
you're actually coming from brand perspective, right?
right, I was just about to say I
Right.
have
So
different.
give us that brand perspective.
I was just about to say I have different goggles on when it comes to brand awareness for me.
Yes.
In my eyes, I believe brand awareness is telling your story online, but it's also knowing your story. You have to be
Yes.
aware of your brand before you're able to tell it to anyone. So that
Right.
that means before you're able to market it anywhere, right? So
Yes.
brand awareness for me is knowing your brand.
Right. Now I'll show you what brand awareness means for digital marketing.
Hmm.
Brand awareness means now how do we get that message you're talking about that you've just created for this company?
Hmm.
How do we get it to the masses now? How do we bring that awareness to that awareness? Does that make
Right.
sense? Yeah,
Yes, it
bring that
does.
awareness to that awareness. So the first thing I would say is you want to make sure your website has a blog section because you got to have your content that you can now create from the brand strategy. The brand strategy tells you exactly what to speak on. You now want to build content around that and
Hmm.
get it on your website. So you want to make sure it's SEO rich,
Hmm.
right? You want to make sure that it has a backlink attached to it, a couple backlinks, because the way Google looks at it, like Google looks at it like the more people talking about your website means you must be trending.
Somebody. Yeah.
You must be somebody. So this is why you now got to get that blog link into your social medias, right? You got to get it connected to your Facebook. You got to get connected to your Twitter. You got to get it connected to your LinkedIn, right? Then you want to probably build a video about that content, right? So it all creates odds on your time because remember, you're building awareness, right? You want people to know you're there. So content is key in this content is key when it comes to the solution to building this awareness, right?
Hmm.
So the
Hmm.
more content you get, the more clicks you get. You
Does
get
it
to
also
actually
mean, sorry, does it also mean that your messaging has to be on point then too?
all from the branding. The branding is going to
Yeah.
give you this message, and all we're
Yes.
doing now, taking this message and making it more eye catchy. You know what I mean? Like you're probably talking about um you're talking dentist in one of the last video, and he
Hmm.
has a topic on teeth, right? You can just be you're saying whitening is what his favorite thing, or teeth whitening, or even veneers, right? And he can be like, this blog is going to tell you which veneers are better for your mouth, or this
Right.
blog is going to tell you what to look forward to in the next 10 years with
With your
veneers in your mouth.
veneers. Yeah.
Or when we get involved, we could be like, uncover the knowledge of what happens to your mouth in 10 years wearing veneers. So
Right.
you see how that title has a more catchy feeling. It has a more intriguing, how can I say it? It has a way of getting you to click it right away. It
Yeah. Grab
entices
it's
you,
attention grabbing.
is gravitating to you, right? This is what the digital marketing does. It comes down, it takes these words, it
Hmm.
finds more keywords around your conversation, your mission, your voice, We understand the tone. Now we find these keywords around what the avatar is looking for. So once you now break down these personas, you break them down into three profiles. That's what Siobhan loves doing. And she hands this to me, and I have these profiles now, and I have the way these people talk and how they live. All this information that she's gathered, right? We now put it into the psychographics on your social media. Like we put all that back into the blog, like I said,
Yeah.
we put it into the artwork because we now got to trigger these people, right?
Yeah.
If you're somebody who likes a Big Mac and I'm putting a McChicken in the image, am I gonna stimulate you? Are you even gonna look at the image?
No.
No.
So
But if
so
I
all the information that I gather on my end, colors, tone of voice, topography, all of that, we hand that over to you and you kind of mix it up and make your own little jewels out of it.
Well, right. Well, what we do now is we understand what you're doing. We gather. First of all, you have a guideline. You send a guideline to us as well. You know the
Right.
stylescape that they
Right.
choose. You send all that to us, so we'll have a more understanding of who it is. We read over that information, right? We do a research on how much people are looking at the keywords around this person. You know what I mean? We maybe some of the research you get, we give it to us, reread it, we look at some images that would fit this person, what this person would gravitate to, the colors they gravitate to, and we have them within that image. So now we have that stylescape, all your color palettes within that one image with that psychographic effect connected to it. And now we have the verbiage and the SEO that will draw them in through Google, or even when they get there, they read it, they relate, but our key thing is that call to action at the bottom. So this is a different way of bringing awareness, right? When they get to that call to action, they send you in a message, hey, contact us. We actually have pixels on that page as well. So those pixels now you can retarget that person with the exact information that is on that blog. You know what I mean? So
Mhm. Mhm.
creating the awareness, you want to focus on your social media platforms. You want to focus on your content marketing generation, right? You want to focus on your SEO. A lot of people say focus on ads. I say organic is the best way because you're here for the long haul. I would think, right?
Yeah.
Organic takes a lot longer, but it builds better relationships, especially in longevity of it. People looking at your information from 2 years ago, what they see is how much you are an authority in your field. They see that you actually value what you do. You love what you do through your content from so long ago. And this content from 2019 is actually fixing my problem right now. He
Right.
must know what he's talking about, right? So this is where that content marketing coming in, right? And
Right.
then the blog ads and so forth. So you want to be careful with how you're building that brand awareness as well. So you don't want to always be selling, 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 selling,
Nope.
selling, selling.
Nope.
Buy
It's
here. We
it's
have this
about
on sale. We have this.
it's about your brand experience too. If I'm experience only selling from you, I'm not gonna come.
No.
Right. I want to be when I learn about your brand, I want to experience your brand at the same time. And if the
Hmm.
experience sucks, I am not coming back. And that's for everybody.
Right.
And if you're gonna push sales on me all the time, goodbye.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And nobody
Yeah.
wants to be sold. We're in a day and age where we have a word called abandoned cart for a reason. People are abandoning carts because when they're ready to shop, they can just press a button and it happens. So, they're storing it in their cart as a wish list, right? So, the wish list, you're not supposed to force that wish list. The wish list means I'll get to it when I get to it. You just got to make sure that your brand awareness and the digital marketing aspect of all this information you get from the branding gets you in that wish list. That's it. You want to make sure you leave enough information so they can find you. When they find you, they love you. You build relationship. They get to meet your staff before your staff meet them. Now it becomes a when they walk in because it's like I always thought about coming here. But they're coming on their own recognizance. They're not asking
Mhm.
you to push them through the door. So what we do is like, say if we're using ads to build the awareness through blogs. So a lot of the ads will go back to a blog, but we are
Mhm.
asking for the sale. where we're asking for a sale after you get tons of information and you've built a relationship through that blog, and then that call to action makes sense.
Hmm.
And even if you don't make us, even if you don't purchase, you're on the page. We're going to keep the brand in your face. We're going to stay on your wish list. As soon as you're ready to purchase, you contact us, right? So there's a
You love
method to
your
the
job, huh?
madness. You know what? When it comes to, I love to build relationship first of all, and I
Hmm.
love to deliver. I love to help with solutions to people's problems.
You and
You
me
get what I
both.
mean? Like
Yeah,
I enjoy that fight of figuring out the solution, because that dopamine of the solution, when you find that solution, that dopamine hit you get is like, oh man, look how
we
happy
did
they
it.
are.
Yeah,
Yeah, we did it. You know
yeah.
what I mean? So to deliver, to have somebody, like there was one client we had where we've never met her at all. Just from hearing about her, looking at her pictures and everything,
Yeah,
we built,
research.
yeah, that research. We kind of jumped the gun and said, you know what? Let's just show this client that we understand her before she realizes we understand her. So we built a stylescape and some guidelines just out of our head of what we thought she should look like. And you know what? When we got there, no, we were on the phone. Sorry. When we were on the phone and we got to that
Yeah.
point of showing her this, when we got to speak to her, we are like, oh, wait a minute. Did we jump the gun? You know what I mean? Because we just want to show her what we can do. She was one of our biggest clients, and we just met her. And we just met her through somebody who brought her to us.
Hmm.
And when we showed her our work, and when we showed her that we understood her just by images and looking at her LinkedIn and looking at her past and reading about her and understanding who she worked with, we got so much information that we showed her what we think her brand should look like before
That's
she
another
even
reason.
realized. Go ahead,
Yeah,
sir.
that's another reason why. That's another reason why too your online messaging should be on point, not only in terms of your brand messaging being cohesive, but also in terms of your content marketing and
Yeah,
your social media marketing. Because
yeah,
when somebody's ready to look for you, they're going to look for you and they're going to find everything,
yeah.
right? And
Cohesive.
if it's not cohesive, if
And
it's
it's
not
getting
put
too
together
personal.
correctly, then you're gonna run me away before I even met you,
Yep,
right?
it's true.
Us finding this client of ours, finding all of, like, we went through a lot of her she was shocked that so much of her stuff was out there. Understand that people are taking pictures of you and your name is going to be out there even without you knowing. So make sure that when you put your foot forward for your business, it's its best foot.
It's your best foot, especially if it's online, because it's a footprint that
It's
never
absolutely a foot.
leaves,
It's
that
never
never
going to go
leaves,
anywhere.
never
No,
goes
we
anywhere.
were able to research her back to like 2009, and kind of build something from there. And luckily, she loved what we did. But I mean, that could be anybody, right? Like, you don't want to be caught off guard where somebody's going to look back on you and then all of a sudden it's just going to be a barrage of just nonsense.
Right, but the thing is, her branding was so important. She didn't even realize, because she hardly used the social medias at all.
For what
So
she does, yeah.
in hunting for her, was so authentic. By the time we gave it to her, there was no noise, absolutely none, in finding her. So she was really
Mm,
strategic about how she kept her information offline, to the
right.
point that when you looked at her and you understand the information about her, it was direct to the point. There was just no noise in between. And that's where we had to commend her. And if she wasn't like that, we probably wouldn't have got those guidelines so on point, because we found her favorite color without her even meeting us. We chose a typography. We made a logo for
And
her
let me
without
tell
even
you
seeing us.
that's a rarity. Like, because it's only because that she was as open as she was that happened. But like, don't expect to jump on the phone with someone else and then them just get you off the bat. It doesn't
No,
necessarily always work that way.
no, no.
Um, but
Matter of fact, she ended up being our mentor. that's
oh
that's how that's how great the big wig we were after. Well, we weren't after her. She fell in our lap, but we did such an impressive job. She helped us in turn grow the company. It's not where she ended up being our mentor after all of that. So shout
yeah,
out to her
yeah.
for believing in us, and shout out to us in believing in ourselves. And I share that story for you guys to let you understand that no matter what, because of social medias and because of your blogs and because of your websites, right? You got to understand people are looking at you even when you think they're not. So you got to make sure that that awareness is on point.
It's on
That
point.
awareness you're building has to be on point. And I can guarantee you right now, if you're doing this by yourself, it's not going to work because it's a beyond a full-time job. There's a whole process to
Yep.
it to even get to a blogging stage or to
Yep.
even get to a graphic stage. There's just a lot that goes into it.
There is a lot that
And
goes
then there's
into it.
a lot of testing that goes into it because you got to look at these analytics and see what the algorithm is saying. So you can make videos and feel like, hey, this is what it is, or make blogs say, hey, this is what it is. You're looking at the numbers to see what people are reaching for through keywords, but they might not like your delivery.
No,
They might not
no.
like the way
They
you
might
write,
not like
right?
your tone or your messaging
They
or
like your
yeah,
messaging,
all of
you
that
know.
has to
So
be solid before you're able to pass it on to someone like you who can kind of do magic with it.
and hey, you might be the only person with the company and people know you and all of that. But you know what? All it takes is for one person to understand what they're doing and they'll wipe you out completely if your branding and your digital marketing is not balanced. Balance is the key word. It has to be balanced.
Has to be
Has
balanced.
to be balanced. So when it comes to brand awareness, just stay focused, build that content, use the social medias, create your videos, do the TikToks, use your reels, and create a conversation around the questions you hear your clients asking you
Ask
on
you
a
the
regular
most. Yep.
basis. Don't make up stuff that you think they want to hear. Speak on
What you
what
know.
they want, yeah, what they want to hear by the questions they ask you. All the common questions you hear everybody asking you. You make those videos, you make those blogs, you cut your videos up, get them on the social medias, and you start building your awareness. Anything you want to add, Mrs. Brand Strategist?
No, make sure it's cohesive. I think in terms of branding, there's like a few things that hold true because for me, branding is very specific. I don't know if that's the word I'm supposed to use. I'm using it's very different for everyone. So it's specific to you, specific
Mm-hmm.
to the next person.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I like that about it. So in terms of a broad message, just be cohesive as much as you can be. Make sure everything in terms of fundamentals are put down first before you go ahead and start marketing yourself.
Well said. And with that note, feel free to like, subscribe, go over Instagram, follow Chef Stella right now. That's ChevStellar.
AR.
And go to Isnate CEO, ITSNATE on Instagram for
Mm-hmm.
exclusive insights and ask us any question, DM us. Feel free to reach out to us
To
because we're
us.
not snobby people.
No.
Information is free. How we got
Yes.
started, people were there for us. They gave us information and they gave us guidance. So connect with us. If you want to learn, ask us anything. We're here to help. All right. Thank you for tuning in.
Thanks,
This is my
guys.
session, and you just been digitized. Peace.
Bye.